Well, hello there, peasants. God, you guys just keep catching me drinking this Jack Daniels. All right, well, what we're talking about today, we've got I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Okay, peasants. So, back in the late 90s, after Scream came out, everybody and their brother wanted to make a slasher, sleek, thriller, horror film that had smart-ass dialogue and was, I don't know, just everyone tried to copycat Scream. And the I Know What You Did Last Summer movies basically were the closest that anybody really came to doing it. Maybe Urban Legend, I think, but I Know What You Did Last Summer came pretty close, at least the closest, to being able to copy that style. And, I mean, and most of that is due to the fact that Kevin Williamson, who wrote most of the Screams, he also wrote the screenplay for this. So the first, I still know, the first movie is I Know What You Did Last Summer, from 1997. Basically, these kids are out drinking on the beach. They're graduating high school. It's summertime. They're getting ready to go up to college. And one guy's drinking in the back seat, and they run over this dude, and they kill him, or they think they kill him. And they dump the body. And they make a pact not to tell anybody about it. And then like a year later, they get like one of the girls gets a note. Jennifer Love Hewitt gets a note. And it says, I know what you did last summer. And she freaks out. She starts telling her friends, like, oh my God, somebody knows. And there's this killer with a hook, fish hook. And basically he's like back from the dead to come kill him. You know, he's pissed off. And it's a really good movie. It's shot really well. It's one of the higher end slashers there are. Is it as good as I remember it? No. I remember, like, when I was younger, they were like mind blowing. Like, oh wow, this is so cool. This is so hip. They're just kind of okay now. But I think a lot of people don't talk about the I Know What You Did Last Summer films a whole lot anymore. They kind of have fallen under the radar, which is weird to me because they were so huge at the time. They were like a staple of slashers in the late 90s. It's not that people have forgotten about these films, but it just feels like they're not a topic of conversation as much anymore as like Friday the 13th or the Scream films or the Halloweens, and I think that I think people like if you didn't grow up in this era, you probably aren't too familiar with these, but you should definitely check them out. So the first film, you know, they run over the guy, and he comes back to seek revenge. In the second movie, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, it takes place another year later, after they thought they've killed the bad guy at the end of the first one. Obviously the killer comes back, but this time it's like set at a resort in the Bahamas, and Jack Black's actually in this movie. He's got dreads for some reason. White dudes with dreads are just I don't know, interesting. But yeah, Jack Black's in it. They go to this hotel, this resort during storm season, so it's abandoned. The storm comes in, the phone lines are down, and the killer is trying to get them, and it's really good. I probably like the sequel. I know some people are going to shoot me over this. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer more than I like the first one. It's just more of a fun film. It just kind of is more over the top. I don't know. I just like that one for some reason. It's just more entertaining to me. Seems like there's more on the line with this one. It just seems like it's more. I don't know. There's just more at stake with this one. It just seems more epic, you know. Because Freddie Prinze Jr., who's dating Jennifer Love Hewitt, he's got to like rent this boat and take a bus to get to the resort and try to save her life, because he knows the killer from the first movie is on the island trying to kill her, because he was actually on his way to her house, because he was going to go on the trip with them to the Bahamas, but the killer stopped him on his way there and tried to fucking kill him. And so now he's like, oh shit, like he knows he's back, and now he's got to go to the island, and he's got to like pawn her engagement ring and shit to like make it to the island and save her. So there's kind of like a, you know, oh my god, you got to get there and save her type of vibe to it. I know there's a third movie, but we're just not going to talk about that because, you know, it's a real piece of shit, and so I'm not going to go off into that. The first two films are the only thing worth watching, at least in my opinion. If you like the third movie, have at it. But the first two are really good. They're not as good as Screams. I don't think they're as good as Scream. But I don't know, they're cool, they're hip, they're late 90s, retro throwback slashers, and even though they're not as good as they were when they came out in hindsight, they're still some of the best made quality slashers there are, period. So I just wanted to remind people about these. Once again, it is I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. So check these out if you haven't seen these. They fly under the radar now these days, and I really think that they're worth a revisit. If you haven't seen them, or if you have seen them and maybe you forgot about them, you're like, oh shit, like, yeah, I forgot about those. Like, maybe I'll check those out. Check them out, because I forgot about them up until about like a year or so ago, and I was like, oh man, like, I need to get those. So I ordered these on Amazon just a few weeks ago and rewatched them and had a blast, had a good time. And other than that, I just wanted to talk about these movies, and I'll let you guys go. You guys have a good night. Peace out.